Dear Lord, the battles we go through life.
Dear Lord, the battles we go through life.
We ask for a chance is fair.
We ask for a chance is fair.
Chance to equal our stripes.
Chance to equal our stripes.
Chance to do it there.
Chance to do it there.
We should win.
We should win.
Let it be by the code.
Let it be by the code.
Faith and honor held high.
Faith and honor held high.
We should lose.
We should lose.
Stand by the road.
Stand by the road.
Cheers, the winners go by.
Cheers, the winners go by.
Day by day.
Day by day.
We get better and better.
We get better and better.
Till we can't beat beat.
Till we can't beat beat.
Won't beat beat.
Won't beat beat.
Welcome to M&M Sports Podcast number 50, the Big 5-0, Brian.
It's a number most of us don't want to reach in age, but for a podcast, it's a great number.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to clarify a statement I made about the Houston Texans defense. Last podcast, I used, the word I used was spectacular. They weren't spectacular, and they really needed to be, super elite spectacular to make up for their offensive deficiencies last year.
Yeah.
They were more than adequate.
Sure.
They just didn't fall into that spectacular mode.
Yeah,
all-time defenses, 85 Bears were beyond spectacular.
Right.
The Ravens once upon a time.
Yes,
and yes,
absolutely.
Houston did have like I said, a very adequate defense. I believe they were 14th in points allowed, right around 21 a game. And I do think they'll have a chance to improve on that this season. I was just kind of going off of the 21 points per game stat last year, which would put them right there in the middle of the pack.
Sure. But love the comment, love the feedback.
Yep, we'll take any comments, any feedback anybody wants to give is much appreciated.
Yep, great. I appreciate that very much. We know not everybody's going to agree with this, and you know what? That's what stirs conversation. So we appreciate you guys.
Yes, we do indeed. Okay, we're going to transition to the Royals real quick.
Yep.
We got a lot to cover tonight. I'm going to touch on this. With that crazy, wild win they had yesterday, Brian, where they got up 6-1, fall behind 7-6, and win that baby 10-8. They improved to 67-64 overall. It was a huge swing game, is what I would call that.
Yeah, they needed it.
Yep,
for sure.
They really did.
Yep.
They are now 28-14 in series finales this year, and they are 9-4 when trying to avoid a sweep.
Okay.
And that does count for something.
That shows they have fight.
That's what helped get them in the playoffs last year, was avoiding those sweeps. When you're at least an average team, avoiding those sweeps can be enough to get you into the playoffs.
Those games add up over the course of the season. And not only that, but it keeps you from prolonging the skid a lot of times. So, yeah, great to see.
But I'm going to back up real quick. Preceding this 3-game series was that homestand that we talked about, 10-game homestand. They went 8-2.
Yeah.
Had to have it, and they got it.
Yep.
2 out of 3 against Washington, as we discussed, a sweep against the White Sox, and then win 3 out of 4 against Texas, who's right around 500. Yeah. That's a really good win.
Yeah, it was.
4-game series are hard to win. I mean, a lot of times you'll just 2 evenly matched teams. A lot of times you will see that 2-2 split.
Yep.
So, yes, an 8-2 homestand, at Detroit. Detroit's just a really good team, and you have to be on the top of your game. Friday night they had an opportunity, got up 3-0. They blew that lead. Detroit gets that one, and then they get Saturday. The Royals, like I just talked about, salvage yesterday's game. Vinny Pasquantino is out of his mind right now, Brian. I mean, off the charts, insane hot, like lava hot.
And that's what it's going to take right now. We need guys stepping up like that to stay hot.
Right.
Bobby Witt Jr., his average keeps creeping up. He's getting real close to that 300 mark.
Mm-hmm.
Garcia's the dude's been steady all year.
Right.
We need Vinny. We need a couple of these other guys to continue maybe overperforming a little bit to keep us rolling.
I agree. I want to touch on Vinny real quick because he had 6 home runs on that homestand, Brian. 6 homers.
Yeah.
Homered in 5 consecutive games, which tied a Royals record, tied him with Mike Sweeney going back to 2002 and Salvador Perez in 2021 with the 5 consecutive home runs.
It's good company.
Yeah. I believe he's hit, let's see, he's had 8 in this stretch here. The homestand, and then He hit a home run in each game of that Texas series, 2 versus Washington, 1 in each game of the Texas series, and then he had 2 at Detroit to give him that 8 here in the last, whatever that would be, week and a half, couple weeks.
Yeah. Pretty solid.
Yep, and that puts him at 28 home runs and 92 RBIs right now.
Yeah, those numbers are looking really good.
Really bolstered his stats, needless to say. Yep, and Miguel Garcia's right at 300 right now, and Bobby Witt's working on a 13-game hitting streak.
Yeah, what more can you ask for?
They got Bobby and Miguel competing for the lead as far as individual averages go. Yep. They're really pushing each other, which is great to see.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep. And now they have a series at the White Sox, okay? There's nothing that a bad White Sox team would like more than to rain on the Royals' parade.
Sure.
So these are not automatic wins because the Royals are, 20-3 in their last 23. People are going to assume, that'll be easy. It's never easy.
No, but these are games they have to get.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But there's nothing automatic about it. The White Sox are a major league team. They're out to, like I said, rain on the Royals' parade. Yeah. If the Royals are focused, play a clean brand of baseball, play a smart brand of baseball, I would anticipate and expect them to win this series. Yep. And then they go home for 3 against Detroit. So we shall see what these next 6 games bring. Like I said, currently 67 and 64 and 3 games out of a wild card spot. They're right there. They continue to fight, continue to battle, and continue to hang in the race.
Get some momentum these next 3 games against White Sox, and hope that carries over to that homestand against Detroit.
Right.
And see where we're at a week from now.
You bet.
Okay, if you're from the state of Nebraska, you're probably aware that volleyball season started this past weekend, Eric. And it started in a big way for the Huskers. Rated as the preseason number 1 team in the country. They had a chance to show everyone out there why they were considered the top team, and they took every advantage of it over the weekend. Playing at Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. Nebraska did, and Nebraska fans did what they do. That place was sold out. These other teams came in, and some of these are blue bloods. Some of these were big name schools.
Yeah, I mean Nebraska Volleyball, they play the best every year. Yeah.
They do, and they walked away impressed with the atmosphere that PBA and Husker fans showed them. I mean, sold out. Both Husker games were sold out.
Right.
And that's no surprise. I mean, we sold out a football stadium. So
I think people would go into a state of shock if they did not sell those games out. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a venue that they wouldn't sell out right now. So let's start off with Friday night's game, Eric. A matchup of 2 teams that were in the Final Four last year in Louisville. Number 1 ranked Nebraska. Number 3 ranked team from Pittsburgh. I mean, 2 college blue bloods here.
Sure.
Pitt's a perennial top 5 team, just like the Huskers. On this night, they didn't stand a chance. Nebraska they dominated. First set was kind of close at 25-23, but something happened that second set that you're not going to see. I'm going to say you're probably not going to see happen to Pitt again this season. Nebraska won that set 25-11. Just domination. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. Pitt came out fighting in the third set, as you would expect from a team that's rated number 3, and they won the set 25-20 over Nebraska, but Nebraska closed them out, got the 4-set win. Nebraska they dominated the net. They finished with 15.5 blocks. Andy Jackson, the All-American, 10 kills in the game, had a .348 hitting percentage. Bergen Riley, 40 assists. Rebecca Alley kicked in 9 kills. Of course, I haven't even mentioned our All-American Harper Murray yet. All she did was contribute 15 kills, had a .278 hitting percentage, and only had 5 errors.
And that's when you know things are going good. When that's a name you don't bring up first,
right.
That's when you know you got a good team.
Meanwhile, last year's Player of the Year, Olivia Babcock for Pitt, she finished with a game-high 21 kills, but the Nebraska defense forced her into 14 hitting errors and only hit at a 121%. You can't ask the defense to do much more against last year's top player.
I agree.
So, Nebraska moves on Sunday. Eric talked about this earlier. What does Nebraska do? They play ranked teams. So Sunday, they hosted number 6 Stanford, again at PBA. Again, sold out crowd. Again, Nebraska put on a show.
Flex their proverbial muscle.
Yeah, and I mean, these weren't even close.
Right.
This match went 3 sets. Took an hour and 24 minutes was it. Nebraska won 25-13, 25-19, 25-14. This is against the 6th ranked team in the country. They're kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, they spoil all of us fans during the season, and let's be honest, if they don't win a national title, then it's a bit of a disappointment,
right?
Because we've got accustomed to this winning on such a consistent basis.
But what a great disappointment!
A great problem to have, one might say.
I mean, and granted, it's very early in the season, but I questioned whether we would take a step back initially with Coach Bus Boom Kelly.
Right.
Just a new coach, new ways of looking at the game, new techniques. If anything, I think they're playing better.
And that's the most significant thing to me, these first 2 games, is her getting that first win out of the way, and now the second one, and now we're into the flow of things.
Now you're rolling, right?
Now we're into the flow of things.
Some quick stats real quick, Eric. Nebraska hit .385 while holding the Cardinal to a .094 hitting percentage. Rebecca Alec led the team with 11 kills, hitting .600, which is just absolutely unbelievable.
Right.
Bergen Riley added another 36 assists. And Harper Murray, here she is getting mentioned last again, 10 kills. I mean, you can't ask for any more. I know this team is full of stars. There's 5-star players up and down this roster. They're all fighting for a chance to get on the court, but when these girls are playing like they are, it's hard maybe for some of those girls that are down. They're just going to have to wait their time.
Precisely.
Stanford coach Kevin Hambley talked about the environment, just referring to it as being an electric atmosphere. Really gave a nod to Husker fans. They knew that it was going to be very difficult to play there this weekend. He just wanted to, I think, tip his hat to Nebraska and their fan base.
Yeah, everybody gained this weekend. Everybody gained.
Yeah.
Even the teams that lost, because you're playing that competition. It's just going to make you that much better. We all know this.
And it's Final Four environment, right?
Exactly.
Most teams aren't going to play in those type of settings this season.
Right.
So to get that early, and it's early, these losses aren't going to hurt them.
No.
They're going to bounce back.
There's so much more to gain than to lose, even if, like I said, even if you lose a game, it's against a quality opponent.
By the end of the year, these teams are going to be right in the mix.
Yes.
Nebraska moves on this weekend. They will play in the LUV Invitational in Nashville. Friday, they will take on Lipscomb. Not quite the ranked opponents that they started the year with, but
you got to have a break somewhere in there once
in
a while.
You do. Sunday, though, they bounce back with a game versus the number 7th ranked Kentucky Wildcats.
Okay.
So another great opportunity for the Big Red to pad their resume, if you will, against ranked opponents. We've talked about this a lot last year, Eric. It seems like they play a ranked opponent at least once a week. And it's just bonkers to see their record as good as it is.
On average, I'm sure that's the case. Yeah.
So great opportunity for the Huskers to move to 4-0 and see where they stand after that. But things look great.
Yes.
From volleyball to football. Yes, football season starts this week, Eric. For us. We know it started last week for some college football.
Right. Farmageddon, the old K-State, Iowa State game. That was a good one.
Yeah. I saw the results of that game. I didn't get to watch it. And it made me think, hey, a win by Nebraska this week, a loss by K-State last week. Maybe things are turning back to normal for us, you know? Maybe the football world is coming back around.
Great turnout in Ireland. Both schools were well represented in that contest.
I don't ever want to play over there again after the last go-around.
Was that the Northwestern game?
Yeah, these other teams can have it. I don't ever want to go back there. We're going to get into our predictions, right?
Heck yes, and I have some from others as well.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Always nice to get some other opinions.
It is fun.
Predictions.
Absolutely.
Yep. You go ahead. I'm ready.
Well, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now, okay?
That's understandable.
I went through this last week, picked my teams, picked my games, and on paper, I'm looking at this team, and except for maybe the defensive line, which is unproven. I'm not going to say they're not going to be good, but I feel like we are improved on paper everywhere across the board.
Right.
And I'm very bullish on our offensive line right now. If we can protect our quarterback, which I think we can do this year, and open holes for our running game, I think our offense is going to I think they're going to really excel this season. It will come down to our defense, and I have faith. I have faith in our defense.
Do you think there's any way our defense could get exposed in that first game just because there's some new faces in there and learning just new assignments, what have you? Yeah.
I do. I think there's that chance.
Right. We'll get to that game here after a while.
But I think that defense is underrated.
Okay.
I think our defensive backfield is going to be really strong. And if we can get any kind of pressure up front, I think this defense, I think the Black Shirts are going to surprise some people.
I like it.
This first game of the year, Cincinnati, it's a great way to start the year. I know the points are a little close here. Most of them, I think, have us at what? 5.5, 6.5?
It's right in that 6.5 range right now, yeah.
I have us winning by 10.
Okay.
I have a 27-17 game.
Okay. Would you like to hear just a few other scores here?
I'd love it.
I have one, Huskers 38-21.
Okay.
35-17, Nebraska. Let's see. Here's one that says they'll win by 4 points. Another one says they'll easily cover the 6.5 point spread.
Any Cincinnati fans? Anybody take Cincinnati?
Nope.
Okay.
I have, like I said, a guy picked them to win by 4, and I have them actually winning 34-30.
Okay.
And I'm going to get into that a little later, but I'm going to let you continue right now. I have Nebraska winning 34-30, by the way, as did all these predictions. Like I said, one had them winning by 4, and I have them winning by 4 as well. Continue, please.
Well, this one in particular, Eric, I'm basing it off last season. I know they have some returners. They were 5-7 last year. They lost their last 5 games of the season. But I want to tell you who they beat last year. They beat Towson, 7-5 in the FCS.
Right.
Okay? To me, that's nothing spectacular.
I agree.
They beat Miami of Ohio. They finished 9-5 in the MAC conference. Again, not to bag on anybody, but I'm not impressed by that win.
Right.
They beat Houston, who finished 4-8 in what I call a weak Big 12.
That's fair.
They also beat UCF, Scott Frost's new team, who finished 4-8 in the Big 12. They did get a good win. They beat Arizona State. Arizona State ended the year at 11-3. They somehow knocked them off.
They got off to a good start and didn't finish strong, correct?
I believe so, yes.
I'm talking about Cincinnati,
yes. Yes, they did, yes.
Yep.
So I'm not putting a lot. I know their quarterback had some pretty good numbers last year, but yeah, I'm not putting a whole lot on that. That's why I think Nebraska wins double digits.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get into each game because I know you're gonna break them down.
Well, I'm just going to break this one down. We're going to give predictions, and then we'll break each one down as we go along this year for sure.
But my 2 loss, I have Nebraska at 10-2. Okay. I have 2 losses, both on the road. The first one, I don't have us lose until we go on the road October 11th at Maryland. I feel like this is a trap game for Nebraska.
It's also the first road game.
Exactly.
Yep.
First true road game. They're coming off that home game against Michigan State, which I think they win and stay undefeated. So they go on the road here. I just think Terrapins are going to sneak up on them. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, but I think that's Nebraska's first loss. Okay. I have us not after that game. I have us knocking off Minnesota, which we're due there. Northwestern, I have us beating USC at home. And I have us then that following week going on the road and paying back UCLA.
That'd be nice.
I think that was a game we kind of gave them last year, and I felt like we were the better team. And I've already said it. I feel like we're much improved. I think Dylan Raiola is really going to see things better. Our running game, I think, is going to be pretty strong. Our wide receivers have the opportunity to really excel this year.
Yeah, I like a couple transfers we brought in.
For sure.
A lot of talent there.
And if this O-line does the job like we're hoping, I know today I heard Coach Holgerson saying we have 5 tackles right now that are competing for 2 spots.
I love internal competition.
He said they are all interchangeable right now, that he's never had this luxury before. So to have that going on the week of your first game, I mean, you still have these 5 guys just balling out to get on the field.
I know I'm repeating myself, Brian, and I know you know this, but internal competition just brings out the best in everybody.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we know there's going to be an injury somewhere on that line. There always is. But if you're deep, if you build that depth, you have that internal competition, you're able to overcome that.
Yeah.
Okay. Second loss of the season, Eric. It's not at Iowa. Iowa, I'm sorry. The streak is over. The Wicked Witch is dead.
It sure as hell better be.
Your reign is done.
Enough already.
Yeah. You had no business winning that game last year. None whatsoever.
Shame on Nebraska.
Yeah.
Though. Shame on us.
Shame on us.
Come on.
That I believe that first play of the fourth quarter last year, the guy, little short pass, guy broke tackles, scored. They literally got 70-some yards on that play, which they hadn't even had that many yards total up until that point. So the defense came to play that day. The offense struggled. The offense is not going to struggle this year. It's not even close against Iowa this year.
They got us in an Iowa kind of game. That's what happened.
That's what they do, right?
Yep.
That's what they do. That's done. That's not happening again. November 22nd at Penn State. That's my next loss. Penn State has too many weapons. Penn State is Penn State, right? And on the road, I mean, come on, that's going to be tough.
You don't think coming off that bye week will help us at all in that one?
It's not going to hurt us any, but I don't think there's enough there.
I wish we could choose a bye week at a different time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, right. Really?
We have 2 byes, but if I could pick a spot for it, it wouldn't be before that Penn State
maybe going into that UCLA game the week before.
Yep.
Maybe that would have been better served. But, yeah, I'm going to say I think this Penn State game is going to be a lot like the Ohio State game last year for us. Okay. I think we're in it. I think we show that we belong on the same field, but we just don't quite have the caliber of athletes to beat a team like that yet.
That's fair very realistic.
So I have us getting in the playoffs at 10-2. What happens from there? I don't know. We'll see. I didn't get that deep into it yet.
Right.
But, I am a very optimistic 10-2.
I like it.
Okay.
I'm going to get, before I give any predictions, I'm going to give what the experts say here. I'm going to give, first of all, each teams over and under. Because that gives us a pretty good idea of what is expected of each and every team.
Absolutely.
Okay. Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon are all expected to win 10.5 games. Okay? So Vegas is telling us those 3 teams right there are head and shoulders above the next 2 teams. So I would consider Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon Tier 1 is what I would say.
Tier 1 in the Big Ten.
Yep, and then the next 2 are Indiana and Michigan are right in that 8.5 range. And then right below that is Illinois and Nebraska, right in that 7.5 win range. Yep. Minnesota is at 7, USC 7.5, Washington 7.5. So yeah, I would call that the next tier.
Sure.
And then you have Iowa at 6.5, UCLA 5.5, Michigan State 5.5, Rutgers at 5.5, Wisconsin 5.5, Maryland 4.5, Northwestern 3.5, and Purdue at 2.5.
Okay.
There's your expected win totals for each and every team.
I can get on board with most of those. I don't think those are too far off by any crazy stretch of the imagination.
Right. But yes, Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon.
Cream of the crop.
To the experts. But then when you go through Phil Steele's rankings here, he's got it just a little bit different.
This guy knows something about college football.
He knows a little something.
Yep.
He actually has one additional team in that. Well, here's what he has. Penn State, he has number 1. Ohio State, he has at number 5. So according to what he's saying, I would call that his Tier 1.
Okay.
And then his Tier 2 would consist of Michigan. He has at number 12, okay? He has Oregon at number 13. So right there, yeah, he has Michigan ahead of Oregon. And as we go back and look at those win-loss totals, 10.5 on Oregon, Michigan 8.5.
Yeah.
So they will agree to disagree on that, we'll say. Anyway, continuing with his Tier 2, Michigan at 12, Oregon at 13, Indiana at 16, Illinois at 17, and USC at 21. I would consider that Phil Steele's Tier 2.
Okay.
And then Tier 3 would include Iowa, who he has at 31, Wisconsin at 32, and Nebraska at 35. So I would call that his Tier 3.
Okay.
Yep. And then as I get into predictions, I will give what he has for each team as I go along here. I have Nebraska beating Cincinnati 34-30 in that first game, and I'll go a little more in depth with that one. But continuing on, I have us beating Akron, of course, winning that one. Okay, backing up, Phil Steele has Cincinnati at 42. He's got Nebraska at 35.
Wow, that's pretty.
So if you're just
similar.
comparing those two, we're just 7 slots ahead. Okay, he has Akron at 129th out of 136 teams.
Wow.
So we sure as hell better win that one.
It better not even be close.
Right, better not be close.
That's a game where the 3rd and 4th stringers get some time.
Right. Houston Christian, obviously there is no ranking because they are an FCS opponent. Needless to say, I have us winning that game. He has Michigan, like I said, at number 12. I have us losing that game at home versus Michigan. That would be our first loss according to my predictions, which would put us at 3-1 going into our first bye week. And then coming out of the bye, we play Michigan State. Phil Steele has them ranked 54th. I have us beating Michigan State in Lincoln. At Maryland, our first road game of the year, he has Maryland ranked 72nd. I have Nebraska winning that game and improving to 5-1. And then following that, Nebraska goes to Minnesota on a Friday night, 7 o'clock Friday night game. He has Minnesota ranked 45th. Minnesota seems to be an awfully tough matchup for Nebraska, and I'm hoping this is the year that changes. Their physicality seems to present problems for us at times. I have us losing that game, which would put us at 5-2.
I'm hoping, Eric, you talking about that. I'm hoping there's been enough roster turnover to where a lot of these guys on this team don't even know anything about Minnesota.
That's how it should be.
That's how
they've
what
had
I'm
nothing
hoping
to
for.
do with those losses.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, that Friday night is a little. Yeah. That scares me just a little bit.
Why do we get stuck with these Thursday and Friday night games?
That's a whole nother conversation. We'll save that maybe for another day.
We're not meant to play on those nights. Right. Come on.
Anyway, 5-2 I have after that loss, and then Northwestern he has ranked 63rd.
Okay.
I have us winning that game, improving to 6-2, and then hosting USC, who he has at 21, and I have Nebraska winning that game.
All right.
And improving to 7-2.
Okay.
And then at UCLA, I picked us to lose to them last year. That's exactly what we did. I'm going to pick us to lose to them again.
Oh, no.
I think after a big win over USC, maybe, for one thing, you're going to the West Coast.
Sure.
Maybe you come out a little bit flat, and they do have some talent. Yeah. I have us losing that game. Obviously, I hope I'm wrong. He has the UCLA at 52, which is respectable.
Sure.
So losing that game, which would put us at 7-3 at that point.
But of course, they're going to have talent. Who doesn't want to go to SoCal and play football? I mean,
yeah. Once again, that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Quite an advantage being able to recruit on that West Coast. At Penn State, coming off a bye, they have Brian explained it. We all know this. They're that much more talented right now
than almost everybody.
Anything's possible,
sure.
But we'd have to win the turnover battle. We all know how this stuff works. Yeah, it'd have to be something unforeseen to pull that upset in Happy Valley. So I have us losing that. So that would put us at 7-4. Then winning that last game of the year against Iowa, who he has ranked 31st, finishing the year at 8-4 is what I have, Brian.
We're not far off.
Right.
The game, we're really not. Your 8-4 could easily be 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
My 10-2 could easily be 9-3.
Right.
We're really a game off each other here.
You know how I operate. Sometimes mine's a little bit schedule driven.
Sure.
Definitely the case with Minnesota on a Friday night, and then hoping we win that USC game, then having to go to the West Coast and play UCLA that following weekend.
Absolutely.
Because I think on paper we're probably better than UCLA, but sometimes there's schedule quirks, letdowns that happen, as you know, in sports. So I have us at 8-4. I'm going to give some other predictions real quick beyond just yours and mine.
Okay.
Here's a crazy optimist. 12-0.
12-0.
How's that?
Woo!
Can't call that person
I love it.
Negative.
All right.
9-3.
Okay.
Then there's an 8-4. Another 8-4. A 10-3. This one has us going 9-3 and winning whatever bowl game we're in to get us to that 10-3.
Okay.
Another 9-3. 9-3. 9-3.
I got to stop you.
Yeah.
That 10-3. They must not have us in the playoff. Then, if they only have us winning one bowl game, I do want to throw that out there.
Right.
While that person's optimistic, they're not overly optimistic.
Correct. Here's a 9-3, and he says by the end of October we'll be in the top 12. So kind of targeting that time frame.
Absolutely.
Here's a 10-2 and in the playoffs.
Okay.
How's that?
I like it.
And I mean, obviously that 12-0 that goes without saying. They got us in the playoffs. Here's a 10-2. With losses to USC and Penn State, and getting into the playoffs and getting beat in the first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
So that's going in depth.
I'm great with that. I hope that I'll take that.
Here's a 10-2 and a 35-17 win in that first game. I threw that score out earlier. Yep. Here's another 9-3, and here is a 7-5. And winning that first game by 4 points.
Okay.
Which is exactly what I happen to have us winning that first one 34-30. I hope we beat them by 50, obviously. But what scares me a little bit is the quarterback's ability to run.
Sure.
I looked up Brandon Sorsby last year. He had 18 touchdown passes, 7 INTs, just over 2,800 yards, but rushing-wise, for a kid that's 6'3", 235, he rushed 105 times for 447 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Okay.
That concerns me. That concerns me a little bit. That really does, especially with Nebraska trying to replace the likes of Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker, new faces in that first game. I think both teams are going to score some points. That's how I envision it.
Our linebackers need to stay home on this kid and not let him get more than a couple yards.
Right. They also brought some transfers in. Cyrus Allen from A&M, Caleb Goody from Colorado State, and this Jeff Caldwell from Lindenwood. Yeah, I know. Step up in competition. But this kid, 6'5", 215, had over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. I mean, and then you consider a kid from A&M that had over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns playing SEC competition. So, yes, these new faces at receiver, they're still getting acclimated, but that concerns me a little bit. They brought some guys in. Running back, they lost Corey Kiner to the NFL, but Evan Pryor last year, backing up Corey Kiner, had 56 rushes for 418 yards, 7.5 a pop with 6 touchdowns, and he's their starter this year. Offensive linemen, I'm not going to pretend to know if they're big and quick, but they're big. They got Joe Cotton transferred from South Dakota, 6'7", 320-pound left tackle, and then they have right tackle DeAndre Buford, who is starting for a third straight season, so there's some experience there. They have a tight end that I believe played for Ohio State once upon a time. Joe Rohr, Ohio State transfer. He was with Cincy last year, and he had 50 receptions for just over 500 yards. So there are some things that concern me on the offensive side.
I will say the offensive line part, the fact that the kids played there 3 years, that doesn't impress me because we've had guys at Nebraska play 4, and I didn't think they were worth a damn.
That's valid.
You know, but I don't want to take anything away from these guys, but I'm just hoping we overmatch them. I'm hoping, obviously, the atmosphere is going to favor us. I mean, without a doubt.
That goes without saying. But let's be honest, we've had 90,000 on our side.
And it doesn't make a difference.
At Memorial Stadium, and sometimes that doesn't matter.
I'm hoping this is a different atmosphere, though. These aren't home fans. These are fans that travel.
Maybe just super rowdy and crazy more than usual.
I mean, if you've been at Memorial Stadium recently, it's not as electric as it used to be.
Right.
Our fan base is getting older. Sometimes they're just a little less vocal.
Sure.
So sometimes the ones that travel are a little more fanatical.
You bet.
So we'll see what happens. But regardless, I expect that place to be rocking. And
8:00 game on a Thursday night. Oh yeah.
You know,
they'll be into it and then some. I'm pretty sure.
Tailgating might be going on.
Possibly, possibly.
I think you'll probably have 2 former Bearcats in attendance. The Kelsey brothers.
Oh, yeah.
I think they will both be there on that Thursday night. Sad to say, I think they're going to go home upset, but I hope.
Right.
Nebraska needs. They need to start this season off with a bang. Obviously, yes, we need the win, but the less competitive we are able to make it, I think the more that's going to carry us into, we're not going to necessarily need it the 2 weeks after with Akron, with Houston Christian. But that 4th game of the year when Michigan comes to town and they're playing without their head coach, that's the main reason why I think why I picked Nebraska in that game, Eric. Michigan's will be in Lincoln, but on top of that, they will not have their head coach.
Right.
And I do think that makes a difference.
Oh, no, I totally get that.
Will it make enough of a difference? That was what I had that as a 50-50 game with him not being there. I give Nebraska a very slight edge.
Michigan's built such a winning culture, winning a title 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a dogfight. And needless to say, I want to be wrong.
Yeah, it's going to be fun no matter what. I don't think the last time Michigan came to town, they just thoroughly dominated us. I don't see that happening.
Right.
I do, even if we were to lose, I don't see it being a thrashing like we had more recently.
Right. I mean, once we get beyond the Cincinnati game, which obviously we're all hoping we win, you get a couple games where you should be able to kind of prep for Michigan, which is advantageous for sure.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. You're getting these new guys. There's a lot of new guys on this team. First off, there's a lot of freshmen who are going to see action this year. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we did a great job of bringing in kids in the transfer portal. So they're going to have 2 home games before Michigan comes to town to take in that atmosphere. Some of them playing in an environment that they've never played in before. And to see all that pomp and circumstance that goes with it, I think to get these, what I want to call cupcake games out of the way to give you that taste of what it's like before the Big Ten season gets rolling, I think is very advantageous for us.
Exactly. But no, this game, like I said, Vegas, I was thinking in the beginning it might be closer to like maybe a 10-point number they throw out, but them throwing out that 6.5 concerns me a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when I was doing some research, I thought, okay, I'm picking up on what they're putting down here a little bit. I see both teams scoring some points, and boy, I hope we score more. Simple as that.
Unfortunately, we look at things 2 different ways. You're kind of an analytical guy. I'm just going with my gut. Right. You know, and it's not to say one way is better than the other or worse than the other. That's just, you have 2 guys here who look at things a little differently. Historically, Vegas is more accurate than my gut. You know,
they know more than any of us. Yeah.
So you're probably more likely to be correct. I'm going with more of what I hope happens.
I mean, you don't have a blowout per se. 10 points is competitive.
No, yeah. Right. Yep. I'm hoping it's worse than that.
Sure.
But I'll take a 10-point win.
Right. But no, as we get going into the season, we'll try and break down definitely the significant matchups.
Sure, absolutely.
Heck, even Akron will have something when that game comes around. Something for you guys to go off of.
Absolutely.
But that's where we're at right now, and you got some of our listeners' predictions, and give everybody something to go off of.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Hopefully, we come back here next week and we have a win to talk about.
Right.
And a good win, not anything ugly, not something happened to go our way at the end, but a good win.
Like we always talk about, a smart brand of football. Obviously gives you your best opportunity.
Absolutely.
First game of the year, there's gonna be mistakes by both teams.
Absolutely.
But try to minimize those mistakes the best you can. Next podcast, we're also looking for some NFL predictions like we talked about.
Yep.
Brian and I have given our predictions, our rundown. If you would like to go back and listen to previous podcasts, you will get our thoughts and predictions on the NFL. Today, we're focused primarily on Nebraska.
And if you are interested in this Nebraska-Cincinnati game on Thursday night and you did not get your predictions into us, leave one in our comment.
Yeah.
Let's see who's right, who's wrong. Just have fun with it.
That'd be fantastic. And we'll touch on some of the bigger matchups that are going to occur this weekend in college football as well.
Sure.
We'll address those games, the biggest ones, next podcast.
Yep. There's other games going on besides Nebraska, but right now that's all we're focused on.
Yep, that's our primary focus, and we want to get this first one out of the way, get win number 1, and move on from there.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you to everyone who interacted with us here this last week, giving predictions, leaving comments. We appreciate it. We will be back next week. Go Big Red.
Yep, any and all feedback is most welcome, and let's get that first one out of the way.